supposed to be. We were supposed to be. We were supposed to be an empire. What is love? If you're not here with me, what is love? If it's not guaranteed, what is love? If it just ups and leaves, what is love? What is love? If you're not really sure, what is love? If it just ups. I would tell you that I love you tonight, but I know that I've got time on my side. Where you going? Why you leaving so soon? Is there somewhere else that's better for you? What is love? If you're not here with me, what is love? If it's not guaranteed, what is love? If it just ups and leaves, what is love? If you're not here no more, what is love? If you're not really sure, what is love? What is love? Tell myself I wouldn't cry when you're gone, but I know it's easier said than done. Look at me choked up now. Try to tell you, but it won't come out. What is love? If you're not here with me, what is love? If it's not guaranteed, what is love? If it just ups and leaves, what is love? If you're not here no more, what is love? If you're not really sure, what is love? If it just ups and goes, I can't live without you. I can't live with you. What goes around will come right back around. You won't know till it hits you. We were supposed to be. We were supposed to be. We were supposed to be an empire. What is love? If you're not here with me, what is love? If it's not guaranteed, what is love? If it just ups and leaves, what is love? What is love? If you're not really sure, what is love? If it just ups.
Sounds wild, but I can show you your soulmate's face.
I just wanna speak the name of Jesus over every heart and every mind. 'Cause I know there is peace within your presence. I speak Jesus. I just wanna speak the name of Jesus till every dark addiction starts to break, declaring there is hope and there is freedom. I speak Jesus. Your name is power. Your name is healing. Your name Shout Jesus from the mountains, Jesus in the streets, Jesus in the darkness over every enemy, and Jesus for my family. I speak the holy name, Jesus. I just wanna speak the name of Jesus over every heart and every mind, 'cause I know there is peace within your presence. I speak Jesus. Shout Jesus from the mountains, Jesus in the streets, Jesus in the darkness over every enemy, Jesus for my family. I speak the holy name, Jesus. Shout Jesus from the mountains, Jesus in the streets, Jesus in the darkness over every enemy, Jesus for my family. I speak the holy name, Jesus. Shout Jesus, Jesus. Shout Jesus from the mountains, and Jesus in the streets, Jesus in the darkness over every enemy, Jesus for my family. I speak the holy name, Jesus. I love you.
Welcome tonight, guys, on Heart of the Matter. How are you guys doing tonight? Yes, we are ready for the weekend. It is another Thursday night, and I am your lovely host, Javelle Livermore. Thank you for tuning in tonight on Heart of the Matter. And of course, we started this lovely month of October with the beautiful celebration of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We call it the Pink Month. So throughout the entire month of October, we represent pink and celebrating our survivors and those who have won the battle of breast cancer, and we honor those who have lost the battle. So we are definitely in for a wonderful month, and we are going to be listening to a lot of survivor stories for the next couple weeks. we actually have a video tonight that I'm gonna be playing some survivor stories. They're gonna share their journey with breast cancer and so forth. So we are truly excited to hear these testimonies, to see that God still works, and breast cancer is not a death sentence. It is a gift. It is a challenge. It is a victory that the Lord give us, those who have been through it, those who are going through it, and those who have passed through it. So we are going to just focus tonight on continuing on the topic of breast cancer awareness, and I don't want you to miss any episode for the next couple Thursdays, because next week Thursday we have a very special guest coming on our show to share her journey personally. So as we continue the show, I just wanted to say big up to all the persons who are, making the awareness month unforgettable one. Big up to those persons who are walking alongside those who are fighting breast cancer, those who are struggling. Big up to the persons who are, raising the funds and helping to support this amazing journey in the month of October. We are honoring the survivors, honoring those who have passed away, and we are honoring those who are currently going through the situation of breast cancer, both male and female.
With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running out. It's running out of me.
I go to the gym, and
as we continue this journey of breast cancer awareness, we're going to be listening to a few survivors share their story. And the first person we are going to be listening to, she's going to introduce herself, and she is going to give all the details as to her journey, what it was for her and how she overcome it. And we're going to hear a few more persons also share their story as we continue with the journey of breast cancer. So guys, continue to be supportive of those who have been through it, those who are currently going through it, and continue to honor those who have passed away.
Something must be on here. My name is Carolyn Graham, and I am a 17-year breast cancer survivor. Being diagnosed with breast cancer is a traumatic event because it affects how you feel as a woman. Breasts are important to women. I mean, men have breasts too, but not the same as ours. So when you are diagnosed with breast cancer, and you're being faced with the possibility of losing a breast, it has a significant impact on you. It affects how you feel about yourself, and it affects how you start thinking people will feel about you. In my case, I did an annual mammogram from I was 40 years old, and each year it came back fine, no challenge. In 2004, I did my annual mammogram. It was done in August every year. I was very good at that. It came back with a couple grains of sand, things that looked like a couple grains of sand. And they sent the results to my obstetrician and gynecologist. And he said, well, we need to do some further investigations. And I said, no. There's nothing wrong with me. There's something wrong with the machine. They probably had some dirt on the film, and that is what you see. He said, well, all right, humor me, do it again. So I did another mammogram, and the same thing appeared again. At which point I decided, well, clearly they couldn't have had sand on it on both occasions, so something must be wrong here. He then sent me to do a biopsy. My family was another source of concern for me. How do I tell them and how do they respond? My husband has been a tower of strength. He was always there for me. But when we discovered this particular new dimension, we said, okay, what we will do is we will keep this from the children. We have a total of 6 children. We'll keep this from the children as long as we can, so we don't worry them. So with that in mind, in 2004, the day of Heroes Day, which was October 18th in that year, we all took off on a family trip to Little Ochi. We had a fabulous time. And when we came back in on the Monday evening, we sat everybody down, explained to them what the situation was, and that I was going in for surgery the following day. So they really didn't have a long time to worry about the matter. It was, here is the news, Monday night, Tuesday morning, early morning, I'm going into hospital. Surgery went very well. And truth is that I was given the option of doing reconstruction, and I decided I'd had these breasts long enough. If I lost one, it didn't matter. So I didn't go the route of reconstruction. My particular breast cancer was hormone positive, estrogen positive, so I was put on a estrogen suppressant drug for 5 years. And after 5 years, that's it. So my breast cancer treatment lasted 5 years, and I have been cancer-free since surgery. Now, since then, I have been working with Jamaica Reach to Recovery. And it has been a very fulfilling experience because you see women who come in like I was. I mean, when I went to my first meeting, I was a basket case. I just sat down and cried. and it was reassuring for me to look around and see these women who looked perfectly normal, who were living perfectly normal lives. When you first hear that you have breast cancer, your mind goes to, is this thing going to kill me? Is this a death sentence? And you go into panic. But it is reassuring to be among women who have been there, done that, which reassures you that, hey, I can do it too. And that's what my group, Jamaica, well, I call it my group because I've been chairman for a few years. That's what Jamaica Reach Recovery does. We reassure women that there is life after breast cancer and there is fullness of life after breast cancer. The truth is that you suddenly realize how wonderful life is, how the birds sound better, the trees look greener, the flowers look prettier, everything seems to bloom after you've had this experience and you're now on the other side of it. And you say, life really is wonderful. So breast cancer for me, when I had it, it was not a case of, Lord, why me? It was a case of, Lord, what exactly do you have in mind for me to do with this experience? Early detection of breast cancer cannot be overstated. So I'll say it again. Early detection of breast cancer cannot be overstated. The fact is that breast cancer has its stages. It has stage 0 through to stage 4. And the higher up the stage you get, is the less likely your chances of full recovery are. Now, how do we go about early detection? Firstly, you should know how your breasts feel. You should do a self, people say you feel up yourself. It's a good feel up yourself. Do it once a month. Usually either you decide you're going to do it before your period or after your period, but whenever you do it the same time each month. If you've reached menopause and you say, okay, my birthday is the 17th of the month, I'll do it on the 17th of each month. But you need to know how your breasts feel. After age 40, it's not only a case of knowing how your breast feels, but you should be doing a mammogram. What is a mammogram? A mammogram is an X-ray of the breast, which is able to identify if anything is going wrong. It will pick up something the size of a pin. Mammograms are important, but people say, boy, I don't want to do it because it's uncomfortable. Listen to me. I would be lying if I say it's a wonderful experience. It is a little uncomfortable, but can I tell you that a little discomfort does not compare to being diagnosed with breast cancer in a later stage? As I said to you earlier, I did an annual mammogram, and between the mammogram in August 2003 and my mammogram in 2004, it was discovered that I had developed breast cancer. At that stage, it is the best time to treat it because it hasn't spread. It is just quietly sitting there threatening you, so you can knock it on the head and give it a knockout punch, and you continue your life. Early detection saves lives. If you feel a lump, don't sit there and say, I'm going to try a home remedy. I'm going to drink this. I'm going to eat that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You don't go to your doctor, and then the lump gets bigger, and you say, boy, this thing getting bigger, what am I going to do? When you do that, by the time you get to the point of screening, you are far down the road. Your chances of full recovery are reduced. And not only is it reduced, but the cost of your care is going to be increased. Because now you have surgery, which you don't have anyway, let us say. But now you're going to be faced with additional treatments, whether it's chemotherapy or radiotherapy or anything else, and all of these things cost money. Breast cancer treatment is not cheap. The earlier you have this thing detected, the less treatment you need, the better your chances of full recovery. Early detection saves lives. A diagnosis of breast cancer is not a death sentence. It is a challenge which we face and we fight. We tend to be warriors. We go to fight and we fight it to the end. And it is true that there are cases when some of us lose the fight, some of us lose the battle, but the war goes on. And at Jamaica Reach to Recovery, we fight with our breast cancer survivors. We journey with them, we hold their hands, we walk with them down the journey. It's not something anybody wants to happen, but when it does happen, and you come out on the other end of the journey and you find that the light that you see is a light and not a train, it is a wonderful experience. Breast cancer itself is not a wonderful experience, but recovery from it is a wonderful experience. So for those of us who are newly diagnosed, or for those of us who have recovered and are just sort of sitting there wondering, is it going to come back? Don't worry. Come and join us at Reach to Recovery, and we'll show you that life goes on tremendously after breast cancer.
My name is Fayula Gordon, and I am a breast cancer survivor, thriver, and I have been in remission for about a year now. I felt the lump in my right breast. My partner at the time, he was the one who found it, and I decided to go to the doctor and get it checked out. And all the doctors, they were like, you're 24. It's not an issue. It's probably just like a clogged milk duct or something along that line. And I was like, oh, I have nothing to worry about, you know? It's something simple, something that is reversible. But there was still that voice at the back of my mind is like, you need to follow this through to make sure that everything is okay. And breast cancer doesn't run in my family. I didn't have any of the marker genes or anything like that. I think they call it like BRCA1. Don't quote me on that. And I didn't have any of those. So eventually the doctor, because everybody kept saying, you're so young and everything, the doctor that did the pathology test asked me if I wanted to come in office or get the call via phone. And I'm just like, since I had nothing to worry about, I decided to take the news via phone, because I was just like, oh, okay, probably it's not anything serious. And I went into the bank after work and they had like a bunch of breast cancer awareness stuff up, because it was like the ending of September coming into Breast Cancer Awareness Month in 2019. So I was like, God, is this a sign? Like, we are trying to tell me, you know? And I was like, okay, Fayula, you're taking too much stock into it's just Breast Cancer Awareness Month coming up. And at the same time, I looked down on my phone, it was the doctor that was calling. So I hurry up and did my business in the bank and rushed outside to answer the phone. And she's like, am I speaking with Fayula? And I'm like, yes. And she said that, you know, I regret to inform you that your test did come back positive for cancerous cells. And she said that, and immediately, like, I don't know, you see every bad feeling we ever have in your life. Every person who's ever bullied me, like, all of that, I felt it all coming back up. And eventually something come over me and I was just like, you know what, no. And it just went away. And I just started asking her some questions. I was like, okay, what's the next step? What stage of breast cancer is it? Like, I just started shooting off a bunch of questions. And she was taken aback because she was like, that's not she's not expecting that type of reaction. So we finished up that conversation and I decided that I was going to drive home, which wasn't the best decision looking back at it when you get a news like that. And driving home, and I was like 5 to 6 minutes from home, and it felt like 30 minutes. I was driving and suddenly the thought came to me, breast cancer? And I just kept repeating that in my head, breast cancer. And I'm just like, I'm 24. Like, I don't get it. Like, and the tears just started coming. And I could not see the road, anything. I was just really emotional. And my mother called. My phone was automatically connected to the Bluetooth, which is very good. She just called right in the moment. Bear in mind, my mother didn't know that I had a lump. She didn't know that I went to the doctor. She didn't know anything. So when she answered the phone, I was just like, Mom. And I just started bawling down the place. And she's like, Fayula, what is it? What is it? What is happening? Because she had no idea what was going on. And I think she heard like the indicator, and then she's like, you're driving? And I'm like, yes. And so she just kind of calmed me down and said, okay, tell me your next step to get home. And so I walked her through. She's like, okay, you're taking a turn? I was like, yes. And that's how I was able to reach home. And then eventually I told her. So that was essentially she was the first person to say. And I believe that probably if she didn't call at that time, I probably wouldn't have said anything as yet, because I realized I was a very private person. Because during my conversation with her, she was like, okay, we need to get your aunt and talk to her. And I was just like, no, don't tell nobody. So that was essentially the whole journey of finding out that I had breast cancer. I think support was one of the hardest things for me. One, because of the way I process information and process things, is that I tend to do it internally. So even when I'm struggling, I don't necessarily ask for help. And I think it's just a matter of growing up in a single family household. So you see where my mother did everything. So it was just something. And So eventually, I took a while before I told like my best friends and stuff like that. I took a while before I told my sisters. It took a while because my mother, she was the one who pushed me to. She's like, you can't be going through this and expect me to sit on this information and you don't say anything to the rest of your family. And I just didn't want it to become like this big thing where people think of Fayula and suddenly I am the sick person and I'm the one in need. But support is one of the most important things for any person that is going through any type of sickness, because it wasn't just, oh, my body is attacking itself. It was the mental part of it that you had to maneuver, because if I wasn't careful, because already going through the process of treatments and stuff and losing hair and all of these things, you start to develop a certain level of self-esteem issues because you don't recognize yourself in the mirror anymore. And so not only the self-esteem issues, then the whole questioning of my spirituality. Because I say, God, look from when me I serve you, what made me deserve this, all of them some here. And given the fact that I was just so young, so even though I've always been one to say, people always say, oh, she mature for her age, I still feel like it's like there was no mental preparation to say, okay, this is something that could affect me or something. Like it was just a lump. And funny enough, like I got the diagnosis in 2019, December of 2018. I did a well woman exam. So where you do like the breast checkup, everything that has to do with, a female body. And there was nothing there. There was no lump. There was nothing there. And then by, I think June was when the lump was discovered. It became a stage 2 breast cancer. So I'm just like, how within that short space of time? And so for me, the support parts of it, because I'm in the United States and majority of my family is in Jamaica. So I didn't have that physical like thing, because that's the thing about me as well. Like quality time is where I kind of interact most with people. So if I'm face to face with you, you're going to get most of what I'm really going through. So it was very hard to communicate via that as well. And to make matters worse, it was like my husband and I started having issues and he was just like, he doesn't know how to deal with this. But I have to say that he did his best. He was very supportive. Like he was with me with every chemo treatment and stuff like that. And then my, I guess, blood relatives, my aunt and stuff, they did stop by because they could access the US and stuff like that. But I haven't seen my family, especially seeing that COVID kind of hit directly as I finished chemotherapy. It was just like there was no traveling on the books for me. Well, treatment, it was very difficult, a very difficult decision for me, because suddenly all of these things were being thrown at me in terms of kids and fertility preservation and the stage of the cancer and how soon I had to start treatment process, whether I wanted to opt out of chemotherapy and what are the chances of survival if I did that. What did I want to do for my surgery? Do I want to cut off both my breasts and leave it flat or do reconstruction? And I was just like, this was just way too much. And there was a part of me was just like, you know what, I'm just going to cut them off and to hell with them, because they betrayed me and now I have, you know. But then I look at it and I'm like, girl, you're 24 years old. I mean, I don't want to say I'm in the prime of my life or anything, but I'm just like, I love my boobs. I don't even want to say I love my boobs. I love me, right? Like, I love my body. Like, whether I gain weight or I lose, I've never had that issue where I look in the mirror and I don't see like beauty and love and stuff like that. And I said, do I really want to cut them off. And I went, the first doctor I saw, he was a male doctor. And, you know, it's same, first surgeon, let me differentiate. The first surgeon I saw, he was a male surgeon. And the first thing he was like, you know, you're 24 and we want you to live a long life and you shouldn't even be in here. And I'm just like, I'm so tired of hearing that. And then he's like, oh, we can just cut off your boobs and do reconstructions. And that was my first introduction to even having a conversation about my diagnosis. And it was just really, it was off-putting for me. And the nurse saw how uncomfortable I was, because he even started asking about kids and stuff like that. There wasn't any like delicate touch to it. And she saw it, even she started tearing up. She didn't cry, but she teared up because she recognized that, you know, she had I think she had like a daughter my age or something. So she understood. And I decided not to go with him as a surgeon. And it was just a whole issue of trying to find someone within my health insurance. So the first step was chemotherapy. So I started chemotherapy in like November of 2019 and finished like the end of February 2020. And during that time, I had to stop working. So again, another whole strain of stress. Anyways. And hair loss started. And I tried to hold on to my hair as long as possible. And I didn't even know I was attached to my hair or anything of that sort. Even though it's still growing back, it's at this weird length. But anyways, but then I remember one day I went outside and I had on this like what Jamaicans call like kerchief over the head. And I just looked like a really mad woman. And I saw this lady like held on to her partner when she was passing me. And I was like, oh my gosh, Fayula, you look like a homeless person. And I think it was at that point I decided that, all right, I need to get out of this depression. I need to actually take care of myself, not because I'm sick. I need to just, so my husband was the one who actually like shaved my head for me and stuff. And I think the main thing for me though was fatigue. Like I was just always tired, just constantly tired. And even if my mind couldn't sleep, but my body wanted sleep. And that was just like a really bad combination. And then after the chemotherapy, we opted for the surgery. So the surgery was in March, and I did a lumpectomy, so which is where they removed the cancer cell, but I kept both my breasts. And I was just like, yeah, this is the best thing for me. And then I had to do radiation therapy because they weren't, with that type of surgery, you're not 100% sure if they got the entire cancerous cells, so they had to use the radiation therapy. And everything was going good until and that was 7 weeks of radiation therapy. And within the last 2 weeks, that's when my skin started cracking open. And it was really bad. Well, it wasn't really bad because I saw imagery that was worse, but mine was just it was manageable. And funny enough, I started a new job while I was going in doing radiation therapy treatments. So I told them in the interview that I'm going to be coming in at 9 o'clock every morning because I have something to do because I didn't want to be disclosing that, I'm breast cancer, whatever. Because that was also something I had to be thinking about, because not only was not only am I a Black woman in America who is an immigrant with health issues, that's like a whole different level of ball games. So I was just like, I don't even know. So I went in to get that new job and was doing radiation therapy in the morning, going to work in after I finished that. And so even when the skin started opening up and everything, it was just difficult to maneuver that while trying to still look professional at work, especially when you're in pain. And it was an experience. How am I feeling now? one of the things that I had to recognize was that I didn't deal with a lot of my emotions during the treatment process, during the entire process. I kind of just like shove it down and just decided that I just need to survive, right? That was the only thing. I just need to survive. And it didn't matter who, what, like, I didn't have time for anything but surviving. And if you wanted to support me or rally around me, fine. If not, then bye. Right? I didn't have time for anything like that. But then, after you do all the treatments and all of that, and then I'm starting to get back into the groove of life and just trying to maneuver that, I recognize that sometimes I'm just in bed and I'm just started crying. Just crying and just and suddenly it's like all the emotions that I didn't deal with was surfacing. So even though the whole, I guess, the physical aspect of the treatment process and all of that was done, the mental aspect now I had to deal with. And so I checked myself into therapy. I would tell anybody to go to therapy, right? I went to therapy. Because at that point, you know, my husband and I have been separated and stuff like that. So it was just a whole lot of emotions. So I taught the talk, went through the entire process of grieving and crying, and till eventually one day I was just like, I'm tired of talking about this. I'm tired of dealing with this. Like, Fayula, who do you want to be 5 years from now? Who do you want to be 10 months from now? Who do you want to be tomorrow? Right? And I was just like, I'm tired of this. And so I decided to stop therapy. And I still have days or moments where it crosses my mind and might shed a one tear, or if I'm talking about it, you know, I do get emotional about it. But at the same time, it still dawned on me that I get to survive, right? A lot of persons don't get that opportunity. It was detected early, as you said. So that in and of itself was a blessing. Because one of the key things that I would look at is that based on my own spirituality and the way I live my life, if I wasn't married, no one would be touching my boobs or anything like that. And I wouldn't be touching my boobs or anything like that. Right? And the fact that happened and that whole detection process and everything like that happened at that stage, I was just like, you know what? Everything happens for a reason. So even if the whole relationship didn't work out, I mean, in a way, he did save my life, right? So I mourned that me, or that idea of me, and I'm just trying to build the pieces back now. I think the first thing is to listen to your body, right? I'm a big advocate of that now. If even a headache that is lasting too long, I'm just like, okay, doctor, do I have COVID? You know, right? Because your health is a matter of self-care, and it's not even, when I say health, I'm not talking about just the physical health. Especially in Jamaica, a lot of people don't take mental illness seriously, and they think that depression is a bad word, anxiety is a bad word, all of these things, and oh yeah, madman or mad woman and all of them something here if you got Bellevue. Right? No, like a lot of us, or a lot of people, experience trauma in life, and getting any type of issues or health issues with your body, that's a whole nother level of trauma as well. And so if you're not careful, you're mad. And that is a whole different. So you have to make sure that you take the necessary steps and precautions to make sure that you are good, you are centered right here. And a key, one of the I guess there's this inspiration thing that happened to me. I think I was at my breaking point, and I was just like, God, I'm tired for fight. I was genuinely having that conversation, and I said, well, if a breast cancer, this is what the conversation I was having with God. If a breast cancer will kill me, just let me know. Like that's the conversation I'm having. I'm just like, I think my family would be okay. I'm ready and all of that. And that's just that's where my mind was. And I went to bed and I had this dream. And it was off. I was back in high school for some reason. And I was in that, like a form class that we normally have. And I saw, like, people around me, their spirits felt familiar. It was like they were friends. And then, like, I looked up outside the door and I saw one of my friends. And we weren't close or anything, you know, but I saw him and I was just like, aren't you dead? You know? And I ran after him and I tried to touch him. And he just disappeared in front of me. And I just break down, started crying in the dream. And I only felt his hand on me. And then I jumped up out of my sleep. And suddenly, as I jumped up out of my sleep, I thought about another friend that I had lost in the 10th grade, who he died in a car accident. So that first friend that was in the dream, he died via drowning. And he was like 22 or 21 when it happened. And then the second friend that I thought about, he was still in high school and he was in 11th grade thinking of becoming a doctor and stuff. And he died in a car accident protecting his mother. And so I had that dream. I got up and I immediately think about the next friend. And then the thought came to me, Ayula, you get to fight. And I was just like, whoa. And I was just like, okay, God, I get the message now, right? Because here are two young people that I'm getting emotional now. So here were two young people that I knew that died young, right? And they had their entire future ahead of them. Like I said, one was thinking of becoming a doctor. The other one, he was well in the film industry and everything. And they died young. And the fact that I was able to even find the lump that early and get treatment for it. And even though at the back of my head, I keep thinking there might be a reoccurrence, it might come back again when I'm 30 or 35 or 50 or something like that. That's still years on my life that I get to live. And so that was the moment I decided that I'm going to fight. Because being able to fight is a blessing. Being able to live is a blessing. So that is it.
Wow, what a journey. You listen to the stories of these young ladies, you know, these women who experience going through breast cancer, and you're just sitting in amazement just listening, you know. And my sisters, they're so strong, you know, they're so strong in how they just conquer this illness that could have taken their lives, you know. And Viola's story really, really catches my attention because she mentioned a part of it that it affects the most is your mental health. And going through all these things that you have to do, you know, chemotherapy and surgery and all of that, and radiation treatments and so forth, it really affects you mentally, you know. And just to hear how these women share and how they talk, and how, you know, the fact that they're still here today and living, you know, in the reality of being a survivor is just a blessing from God, you know. And we just want to thank you all for just tuning in tonight. Again, do not miss next week's episode. Next week we will be speaking directly with a survivor, not just listening to the story, but we'll be speaking directly with a breast cancer survivor. She will be on the show and she will share her journey, and you guys can ask her any questions that you have. Write them down, and as you're listening, you can message me and just ask her anything. So God is really good. Not because it's cancer mean that it's a death sentence. You can fight, you can win, and of course nothing is impossible with God himself. So I just want to pray for all the persons who are currently going through breast cancer, and last month we even spoke about prostate cancer. And anyone who's struggling right now with any illness, especially cancer, we just want to cover them, and we want to pray for them, and we want to support them. When I say support, I mean like monetary support, because the treatments are so expensive, guys. So they do need the monetary support. And if you were in their situation, I'm sure you would want the support. So don't be afraid to give. Don't be afraid to fight with them. Don't be afraid to support them. Don't be afraid to pray for them and pray for their families as they go through this emotional roller coaster. So I want to say, guys, thank you so much for listening tonight. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And guys, see you next week for our guest, Misha Gay Ruddock. She will be here and sharing her story with us. Big up yourself. May God bless you guys, and may your entire life be a testimony to anyone who comes across your way. So we will tune out with one of my favorite songs that I play specifically for this season and this time. I Speak Jesus. I just love the song. It's just a song that really gets you captivated, because Jesus is the one that we have to call on for everything, to ensure that our life is centered around him. Tuning out tonight, guys. This is your girl, Javelle Lamar. Have yourself a wonderful, restful weekend, and a wonderful, restful Heroes weekend as well. See y'all next week.
Want to speak the name of Jesus over every heart and every mind, 'cause I know there is peace within your presence. I speak Jesus.
I just want to speak the name of Jesus to every dark